This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. The 2018 Winter Olympics are upon us, which means ritual ceremonies are occurring, because the opening ceremony at all of these Olympics is nothing more than a ritual. 2 years ago, I covered the opening ceremony in Rio, filled with the same occultic symbols and the same type of occultic rituals, of course, including the eternal flame, which everybody goes, oh, the Olympics, the eternal flame, but they don't pinpoint what the eternal flame is about and why you constantly see the eternal flame with the Statue of Liberty, the eternal flame outside JFK's, his grave, the eternal flame in logos. It's a common theme. The eternal flame stands for Lucifer, the light bearer, who they believe he is, the light bearer. And this Olympic ceremony was filled with more of the same garbage, because again, this is nothing but a ritual. Now, you'll see the gigantic torch that they light, which during the Winter Olympics, they call it a cauldron. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? And now what do we put one and one together with when it comes to a cauldron, right? Anybody out there want to raise their hand? Anybody know? Oh my goodness, it's used commonly in witchcraft, right? In modern witchcraft, a cauldron is still regularly used. It can be placed in a sacred or ritual circle and used to burn items during a ritual to hold the ingredients necessary for a spell or an incarnation, for scrying in water, for making potions, or to provide a vessel in which transmutation, germination, and transformations may occur. Sounds pretty germy to me. Long story short, you've got everybody surrounding this giant cauldron that they're going to light, okay? And you know what a cauldron is, and you know what the eternal flame is, and you know what this is about. It's a ritual. Now, the channel Enter the Stars did a video, and I'll leave it linked up below, which was a good breakdown as well of how they shaped the cauldron. Because remember, at the Winter Olympics, they usually have some type of cauldron. I don't know if they call it that every single year. I know they have in the past. So it's nothing new. It's nothing surprising. But for those of you who are just waking up, I mean, how much more obvious can this stuff get? When you think of a cauldron, you always think of what? Witches around the cauldron. But again, Enter the Stars did a video showing, and I'm going to use a screenshot from his video here, and again, his video I'll link up below, the eyeball, right? You can see how this is almost the eyeball attached, right? And the flame goes up, and then the eyeball is inflamed. I mean, it's not hard to see from this screenshot side by side. It's pretty obvious, right? So you have your all-seeing eye symbolism inside of the cauldron. And people still don't see this stuff. It's amazing to me. But one of the other big themes at the Olympics is always the phoenix rising. Okay? Because remember, they believe the phoenix rising, it's a symbol they always use because they believe that they're going to rise from the ashes, right? We see the phoenix rising outside of the One World Trade Center, whatever they call it now. Okay? After they did that and destroyed the World Trade Center and built up their, satanic upside down, as above, so below, pyramid, One Trade Center, they also built a phoenix rising right outside of it, right next to it, the Oculus. You can't make this stuff up. So the phoenix rising, you see everybody around, the gigantic phoenix. You see people, wearing kind of clothing, trying to emulate the phoenix. This is a symbol they will always use during these ritual ceremonies. Because remember, they are planning for the rise of the Antichrist. And they believe they're going to rise from the ashes. But as far as I'm concerned, they're going to get punted right back down where they came from. Now, something else you always have to keep in mind with the Olympics is the fact that people don't understand what they're really trying to do. And that is push unity, right? Which, again, when you say anything against unity, people go crazy because they go, well, what kind of a human being are you? Who wouldn't want unity, right? But they don't understand that this is unity based on the forming of a new world order, a one world everything, right? So it doesn't mean that you're supposed to hate somebody who's from Korea or hate somebody from another country. I don't. You shouldn't. But it's the fact that they want to get everybody together and unite them as one. So this huge theme occurred with unity between North and South Korea. people crying, this flag of it united, and they had to point out during this ritual how everybody was standing for this unity between North and South Korea except Mike Pence, right? Because remember, they're still going to play the Trump narrative during this. It's the only reason they sent Pence there to do this, to play the narrative of, oh, America put up the borders, put up the walls, right? This is all setting up for when he's removed or for whatever happens, whoever comes in next to bring world peace eventually. It doesn't mean it's the next person that comes into office. We don't know who the Antichrist is. But remember, the Antichrist is going to come in the name of love and peace. And right now, Trump with the borders and all of this stuff, this is all playing into this plot to get people to want and want and want unity, one world currency, one world everything. So they use the Olympics as a platform for this. That's one of the reasons it occurs. Another thing you'll see is what looks like the emulation of mirrors. You can see the people walking around, spinning the mirrors around. Now, it was really hard to tell if they were people, if they were actually reflections in a mirror or if they were mimicking it, but it doesn't necessarily matter because they were at least emulating that it was a mirror, right? They were almost like miming inside of it, but I do believe it was an actual mirror. And again, we talked about mirrors and how they're used in rituals. I talked about it at the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake. I have videos on mirrors. Remember, they use mirrors to summon spirits. They use them during their rituals. It's part of their craft, their black magic crap that they practice. So you could see that. You also see everybody in the crowd holding up these lights. And this is simulating the 1,000 points of light. Okay, you can see the Illuminati card there referencing the 1,000 lights. They always do this. They really did it at the Super Bowl as well with the halftime show, reflecting the lights off the mirrors, but having everyone hold up their phones and reflect the 1,000 points of light. So you get that. You also get a little bit of your Masonic tribute because it's always got to be mixed in there, right? I mean, they couldn't do one of these things without mixing in that type of garbage. So you get this, which is pretty funny. The quote, illuminated steps. You see the black and white steps, the staircase, okay? Any of these photos you look at, and the Freemason photos depicting Freemason lodges and all that, you see the staircase. The staircase is always used. It's a theme in Freemasonry, ascending, right? They ascend certain degrees. So you can see them climbing up the stairs. I mean, I can't count how many are lit, but it's probably 33. It wouldn't shock me if it was 33 stairs lit. And they even actually say illuminated steps. So just mockery there. You actually get some people dressed up in black and white. Obviously, people will say, well, that's because their culture and all that stuff. So I'm not going to get into too heavy of a degree with the black and white symbolism, but it was there. It's always there. It's always going to be there. You also had fire rituals around the cauldron, the ritual circle that I talk about. You can see how evenly placed it is right outside of the cauldron, and they're performing a ritual right in the middle of it. I mean, all this stuff's in plain sight. They don't love circles, folks. They don't love mirrors. Okay, I mean, you have the cauldron, you have the eternal flame, right? I mean, how many logos have the eternal flame? Statue of Liberty, Columbia Pictures, I believe, has it, the woman holding the eternal flame, okay? This is all basic symbolism that we see, but this ceremony is a ritual. They might as well just call it the Olympic ritual every time they do it because that's what it is. But people tune in, they don't realize that they're actually partaking in this. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes and what else is done. You just kind of see this la-li-la, people running around with torches and flames, and everybody thinks somebody choreographed this. Some amazing person was like, they sat down, they said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we, we'll do the same thing as the other Olympics 2 years ago, the other one 4 years ago, the other one 8 years ago. We'll like this giant cauldron. We'll make a giant ritual circle with fires and flames. People will run around with mirrors. We'll have the phoenix here. I mean, it's the same thing every time. Wouldn't somebody step in and go, hey, I want to do something different here, man. It's always the same traditional thing. How about we do, just something a little bit more original? No, it's the same thing because it's a ritual. That's what it is. This is a New World Order ritual. Remember what the Olympics, like I said, stands for. It stands for unity, world unity, right? They both, they wrap it up and put a ribbon on it when it comes to, it's about sports, it's about competing, right? Because people just see that. They don't realize this is about countries uniting, standing together, standing side by side, right? And that's why they emphasize the stuff with Mike Pence not standing, right? Because Mike Pence and Donald Trump went crazy over football players taking a knee during their, the national anthem. So it's just all part of the show. It's part of the ritual as they continue to prepare people for the ushering in of the Antichrist. and for the acceptance of all this stuff. People are clamoring for it. They love this stuff, man. You know, it's amazing to me how people don't see it. But if you're somebody who's new to this stuff, you can check out the videos I've done exposing symbols. They're all there, you know. The fact that this is a gigantic cauldron should just be enough for somebody who's sound asleep to go, wait a minute, what, a cauldron? And then go, well, what's the first thing you think of when you think of a cauldron? All right, you don't think of you in your kitchen making chicken soup, right? Everybody automatically thinks of witches. Okay, and of course they've kind of made that like, you know, something lighthearted because the witches are, they tell us witches are fake, it's fairy tale, cauldron's fairy tale, witch flying on a broom, all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is they do use it in rituals like I read to you before. I mean, I read to you pretty much a basic understanding of why they use the cauldron, what they use it for, and why. So, again, this is the Olympic ceremony. You know, it's 2 hours of just ritual. I know people say, well, it's about countries and their culture. But you could see all the cultures and how the cultures really reside around, you know, duality, right? Because it's really the common theme of the black and white duality, the Masonic duality. You have the illuminated stairs, the ritual circle with the fire, the cauldron, the eye, like I said, the cauldron looks like the eye, like Enter the Stars pointed out. I mean, this stuff is all right there for people to see. So this is the 2018 Winter Games, folks. More of the same crap from our friends at the New World Order. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.